Recorded Books presents Pics by Mclaughlin. Narrated by Sophie Amoss, Kevin R. Free, and Christopher Gebauer. A quote from Ali Reisman, gymnast. Don't let anyone rewrite your story. A quote from Dan Turner, father. This is a steep price to pay for 20 minutes of action. A quote from Wonder Woman, Amazon Queen. What one does when faced with the truth is more difficult than you'd think. Jonesville, Massachusetts, 2017. Nikki. I remember the first time I saw Suze Tillman. Lunch period this past April. She didn't look like a Jonesville girl. She was alone out in the parking lot, leaning against the hood of her silver Prius, reading an old paperback. Jaws, I think. She kept pushing her fine light brown hair out of her face whenever the wind blew it. She wore a vintage Bob Seger concert t-shirt, baggy 501s, and these old black Chuck Taylors. Anyone else would have looked like a slob in that getup, but she pulled it off. She had beauty to spare, like a Disney princess, but of the alt variety. Like if Disney ever made a movie about Frances Bean Cobain. Practically the whole school was staring at her through the floor-to-ceiling windows, wondering who she was and where she came from. I remember turning to my friends, Ani and Lydia, and saying, "There is something off about that girl." I meant it as a compliment. Normal people bore me. It didn't take long for Tarkin Shaw to notice her, too. Jonesville High is a jock school, and he's the king jock. He thinks he owns the place and every girl in it because his parents are rich and he made All-State in wrestling his junior year. Like these are major accomplishments. Actually, most girls go giggly and stupid whenever Tarkin comes around. Like even being seen with him makes you a minor celebrity. Of course, Suze, being new to the school, didn't know his status. So when Tarkin went out there to hit on her with his posse of wingmen, all he had going for him were his movie star looks and, I guess, what passes for charm. I couldn't hear anything, but I'm sure he pulled out all the stops. Flattery, negging, his pathetic attempt at humor. Whatever he was slinging, though, Suze wasn't having it. Never even changed her expression. It was like she was analyzing him. But not like an interested girl sizing up a hot guy, more like a scientist inspecting a vial of urine. You could tell, just from her body language, that all she wanted to do was get back to her book. Tarkin was so confused. It was beautiful. Tarkin and I have a history, but I don't like to talk about it. After he got the message that his charm wasn't working on Suze, he turned tail and jock-walked out of there, flexing his pecs and smirking with his wrestler buddies. By the time they made it back into the cafeteria, they were dropping words like dyke and skank. Typical. They say that about me and my friends, too. They say that about any girl who doesn't worship them. By then, Suze had gone back to her book, like the whole incident had no effect on her at all. Like it was just some lame Netflix series she wasn't going to bother finishing. I turned to Ani and Lydia and said, "We need to meet this girl." They agreed. The three of us went out to the parking lot while Tarkin and his buddies stank-eyed us the whole way. I guess he assumed that since he had written her off, everyone else had to. "Hi," I said. "You're new. I'm Nikki." "Suze," she said, offering her hand. "Are you English?" Lydia asked. "No, but I lived there for a while, hence the accent. I was born here, actually, but I haven't lived here since I was a baby. Been in Munich for the past 3 years." She nodded toward Tarkin, who was openly glaring at us through the window. "Are all American boys like that one?" I wouldn't.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?